Cruising has changed a lot over the years, but certain traditions, policies, and customs remain prevalent to this day. Depending on which you like or follow, this may make you an old school cruiser or not. Here's a breakdown of how to find out if you're an old school cruiser up next. Hey everyone, it's Matt from RoyalCaribbeanBlog.com, and I wanted to share some ways you might know if you're an old school cruiser. There's nothing wrong with embracing the traditional cruise experience versus the new way of cruising. Everything changes over time, including cruising. But even in 2020, there are still some views and even cruise line policies that are in place because, well, there are some people who believe the old ways of doing things are still right. So let's take a look at what makes someone an old school cruiser or not, and you can figure out for yourself which category you fall into. Let's begin with cruise ships and their designs. Royal Caribbean has made a name for itself by building bigger and more impressive ships. Ships with water slides, ton of specialty dining, escape rooms, a flow rider, zip line, Broadway shows, and more. All of these awesome features take up space, and old school cruisers will tell you that these whiz-bang amenities take away from the space on board that was otherwise dedicated to open seating, reading areas, card rooms, and even chapels. Old school cruisers tend to gravitate towards older Royal Caribbean ships like the Radiance class or even Majesty of the Seas. They represent cruising as it was in the last century, where being on board was the draw more than what you could do on board. Next up is dining, and where you eat dinner may determine how old school you are or not. The main dining room and the Windjammer have been and still are the staple of any Royal Caribbean cruise vacation. These complimentary venues offer lots of great food and service throughout the day, and they cost absolutely nothing extra. On the flip side, you have specialty restaurants. These are the dining venues that have an additional cost and bring with them cuisines and cooking styles that are not otherwise available on board. Old school cruisers gravitate towards the main dining room and avoid specialty restaurants primarily because specialty restaurants cost extra and there's plenty of complimentary food venues that are still really good on board. They'd say, why pay extra for food when you have so much included as part of your cruise fare? Of course, sometimes you just want sushi or wings or a tender cut of steak, and that's where specialty dining comes in. New school cruisers love the variety of choices specialty restaurants offer, as well as the quality of food served. Speaking of dining, how about formal night and dress codes in general? Having a dress code for the evening attire in the main dining room is one of the most quintessentially old school views of cruising that is out there. Each night, the main dining room has a dress code that asks guests to dress up. Dress codes on cruise ships have their roots in the decades prior, where dressing up was really the norm. Today, Royal Caribbean takes a very lax approach to dress codes. While they still do exist, they're often unenforced and quite vague out of concern of offending guests. Plus, new cruisers, which are the lifeblood of cruising these days, tends not to like them all that much. Old school cruisers, though, think that dressing up for dinner is not too much to ask, and it's one of the best things about cruising. Not only that, if you don't want to dress up, there's other venues to go to that have no dress codes that you can enjoy, so it's not like you can't eat. And of course, when else do you get to really dress up these days? Having everyone dress up nicely is not only great optics, but it adds a certain distinction to going on a cruise. Now, a big, no pun intended, point of conjecture between old and new school cruisers is the Ultimate Abyss slide. Why? Well, it's big and very noticeable. Royal Caribbean added the Ultimate Abyss to Harmony and Symphony of the Seas, but they were designed with the Ultimate Abyss in mind. The cruise line has added it to Oasis of the Seas and will do so to Allure as well. Old school cruisers think the Ultimate Abyss is garish and ruins not only the view of the ocean from the boardwalk, but also the sightlines of the ship. New school cruisers argue Oasis-class ships are in and of themselves anything but traditional, so an extra purple slide on Oasis or Allure isn't akin to adding it to the Titanic or the Queen Mary. Plus, it's super fun. Next, I want to know, would you rather have a sea day or spend time at one of Royal Caribbean's private islands? Traditionally, old school cruisers enjoy the time spent at sea with nothing but the ocean shining and a gentle breeze passing them by. But private destinations like Perfect Day Coco Cay or La Badie encompass so many activities and places to relax that they've become the staple of more and more itineraries. In fact, Royal Caribbean is building a new private island in Vanuatu in the South Pacific and has plans to add more in the future. The old school way of viewing things is sea days are the best and cruises with less and less sea days are no bueno. New school cruisers love having a private area for just cruise line guests with easy to plan and well kept amenities. There's a certain standard upheld with these private islands because Royal Caribbean is in charge and trading those off for a sea day is well worth it. Now, we can't talk about old school cruising and not touch on Crown and Anchor Society. Crown and Anchor Society is Royal Caribbean's customer loyalty program and includes some really terrific perks for members, especially those in the higher tiers. Discounts at the spa, on drinks, free photos, complimentary drinks for Diamond members, and priority on vacation are just some of the perks that Crown and Anchor offers. Even new school cruisers who have status in Crown and Anchor Society are less concerned about certain perks being offered not by Royal Caribbean. They look at these perks as nice to haves, but not what makes a cruise special or fun. Old school cruisers think that Crown and Anchor Society benefits are what makes Royal Caribbean stand out, and these perks are something that they've earned after years of loyalty to the line. Thus, they should not be touched. Better yet, the cruise line should add to them. And the last way to know if you're an old school cruiser or not is perhaps on which itinerary you choose. Cruising is always about going on a ship to pretty much anywhere, but there are certain routes that old school cruisers absolutely love. Transatlantic and other repositioning sailings are near and dear to the heart of any old school cruiser. Plenty of sea days and day after day on time spent on board are a throwback to the old way of cruising. Cruises that visit Alaska, the Mediterranean, or even the Southern Caribbean tend to be high up on any old school cruiser's list. They know that these spots offer some of the best natural views and history you can find on any cruise ship visit. While new school cruisers don't necessarily have anything against any of these itineraries I just mentioned, the duration and destinations of a cruise are less important to them. After all, Royal Caribbean ships are destinations in and of themselves, and they offer so much to see and do and eat on board that where you visit is almost secondary. So there you have a look at what old school cruisers are like, and I just want to know if you think you're an old school cruiser or not. Let me know in the comments below this video which type of cruiser you are, and which of these topics truly hit close to home. While you're down there, make sure you like this video, subscribe to our channel, and turn on your channel notifications so that way we have a brand new video for you to share. You'll be able to see it first. This has been Matt from RoyalCaribbeanBlog.com, and we'll talk again real soon.